Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit the ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video. Greetings everybody, guys. Let's take a look what's going on in Euro. So yesterday Euro has started really strong. You can see the collapse has started right in the morning on the data release. Actually, guys, this was awful numbers on the business activity in Europe. And again, we just could recall what we talked about in the weekly reports. It's our discussion. It's on the fundamental background. So we said that this balance between the European Union economy and the United States economy will progress and will increase, and that gradually will make impact on the euro. So it doesn't mean that market will just go straight down, but overall tendency in the broader picture on the monthly chart, of course it will be a lot of pullbacks, deep retracements and so on, but overall tendency, it will be kept on course by this disproportion between the different situations. Too much difference in the economy condition in Europe and the United States, and absolutely different policy of the Fed and European Central Bank. So they aimed on the different targets. While European Central Bank just trying to start the economy to work, Fed is trying to keep the pace that's already exists, so just support it, and absolutely different tasks. And yesterday you could see it's really very important for us because first, this is additional detail in our puzzle. It's data release just confirmed this disproportion that we discussed and leads to collapse on the euro. Second, you could see another thing that we also talked about, the short-term fundamental background. So you could imagine and build any strategy on the technical analysis, but currently the short-term fundamental driving factors really have dominating role on the market. For example, even in the last reports we have discussed in the weekend, so pretty lot talks on some positive news or something of that sort, but take a look at the CFTC data, you will see that the short positions on the euro have increased. Long positions totally on the United States dollar have increased. So that's a result, in addition to other factors that we have talked about. So in the technical point of view, what we could say, first of all, I am not really inspiring to take in any long position here on the euro currency right now, because of talks that we made on a report as well. We talked a lot about market mechanics of this consolidation. So in two words speaking, this price action that we see absolutely doesn't correspond to normal bullish behavior. So currently, as I said last week, this even starts to remind the bearish dynamic pressure, because trend has turned bullish in the beginning of the month, and since then market's challenging and challenging and challenging again. This confluence, weekly, monthly pivot point, but every time it has failed, despite the strong support from the big fundamental events, Fed statements, European Central Bank statements, some data releases, some relief in the United States-China negotiations on the tariffs and so on. But even some short-term fundamental support was not enough to break this area. And just flat standing here starts to get the features of the bearish dynamic pressure, which suggests the taking out of these lows. Yes, the collapse here with the breakout of the major 618 support is long standing here also doesn't bring any positive sentiment. Despite that, by the end of the session, markets slightly returned back. So on a daily, as a result, we have two things. First of all, despite the breakout of the major support, market was able to keep the bullish trend, and we've got the bullish grabber actually. by itself, it suggests the upward direction, taking out of this top. But at the same time, this is the high wave pattern, which, which tells that market stands in decision, and it also tells that hardly we will get the direction very fast, very soon. So it probably will be some days of the expectation, because we need the direction of the breakout. But on the current fundamental background and what we see from the technical point of view, I would suggest maybe that chances on the downward continuation stands a bit stronger, at least by my view. Personally, despite that we have the grabber, you should try to build it in the overall context. And the appearing of the grabber looks a bit not quite logical, a bit irrational on the overall picture that we have, and it makes it weaker. And personally, I do not want to take the long position despite I have the grabber, because grabber is just one detail. You need to take it in the whole picture. So that's why I'm not currently considering taking any long position on the euro currency, because overall fundamental is not really pleasant to me. Technical situation that I see here is also doesn't inspire me to take the long position. So currently we still need to wait a bit more here and see what will happen, because from the bearish point of view we need to see clarification of the direction. So it will be nice if we will get the breakout of these lows. On the 4-hour time frame chart, here's what could get on the short term perspective. So our suggestion that we made on the weekend, so we are looking for lower standing targets, it really has been realized. That was the moment of the release of the data. The business activity in Europe, you can see this collapse. Market, as a result, has hit the 127 extension of this butterfly, if we call it the butterfly, but it has not quite reached the OP target of this ABCD pattern. So OP stands lower. It makes me think that we could get some minor pattern that will lead to the continuation and reach this possible OP target. So the one thing that it really could be done on the long side, on the bullish side of the market, you could try to catch the strong supports. For example, this is the butterfly that we talked about in the weekly report. Market hits the target, you could try to buy with a very short-term target. So actually it already has been done. So 30% retracement is done. So that's great. The market hits the OP, it's also you could try to buy it and catch some minor pullback. But currently I do not see the valuable background for taking longer-term bullish trade. So I do not see yet the signs that market is changing situation in the bullish direction. So that's what we will see, what we'll be looking for in the euro and in euros time. Also, it's warning sign that market gradually is erasing this nice strong white candle. It's very strong, and market has erased 80% of this rally. As soon as market will take it out of these lows, this will be a turning point on the euro. Currently, these lows are important because this is lows of the high wave, and that is also the lows of the grabber. So, since high wave indicates mostly indecision, direction will be set when the market will take it out either this top or these lows. So that's our primary object to watch for on the euro. On the hourly chart, well, I also do not see something really special. It's one thing that seems important, guys, is that market hasn't reversed this collapsed fast. So we haven't seen something of that sort, right? So collapse and then return right back up. No, market has collapsed and stands there. And this price action is very difficult to call as a reversal. So this is very choppy. So long tails, overlapping candles. That is definitely the retracement. It keeps the features of the retracement. It means that the impact of the recent data on the markets, on the sentiment, on the minds of the investors are still here. So they do not treat it as something minor. This is really important because market stands on the retracement, but its collapse stands well, and it has not been reversed very fast. That's also the reason why I think that really we could get the downward continuation, or at least I do not want just to take the long position currently. Here's also kind of the bearish dynamic pressure exists, so market turning trend bullish, but price action is not. So that's my warnings currently, guys, on the EUR. Let's see what the progress we will get on this week. But currently, our market confirms the ideas that we discussed in our weekly report.